In late February 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury. Over 15,000 joint military strikes hit Iranian targets within the first 2 weeks of the conflict, securing total airspace dominance. The campaign eliminated over 250 senior leaders, effectively decapitating the highest levels of the Iranian political and military command structure, including Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. On the ground, Allied forces physically dismantled the adversary's strike capabilities, disabling 70% of Iran's ballistic missile launchers. By every traditional metric of war, the United States and Israel had secured an immediate victory. But while the command structure was being decimated on paper, the cost of maintaining this pace was already beginning to outrun the supply chain. The hidden cost of that initial assault was the burn rate. Firing thousands of long-range cruise missiles, which cost about $3.5 million each, rapidly drained American reserves, leaving theaters like the Indo-Pacific exposed. To maintain the assault, commanders were forced into a munitions transition, swapping scarce long-range missiles for much cheaper, shorter-range Joint Direct Attack Munitions, or JDAMs. This chart shows the shock waves hitting the American home front. Notice the sharp, violent upward spike, pushing domestic fuel prices past $5.60 a gallon in just 2 months. That sudden, acute financial pain triggered a rapid collapse in public support for the war, eroding domestic political backing faster than the early years of Iraq or Vietnam. The United States won the initial firefight, but exhausted its political and military leverage in the process. This allowed the adversary to survive the kinetic blows and shift the battlefield to a theater where air superiority didn't matter. Instead of trying to match American air power, Iran pivoted to an asymmetric naval denial campaign. This was designed to induce widespread economic shock. They executed this strategy by effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz, deploying sea mines and fast attack craft. By blockading this specific passage, the operation trapped 20% of the world's daily oil supply, sending crude prices soaring and triggering a spike in global inflation. The American military responded with brute force, deploying bunker buster bombs and systematically sinking 158 Iranian naval vessels to clear the choke point. But destroying naval hardware didn't erase the risk. Because the waters remained heavily mined and insurance costs stayed high, commercial shipping companies refused to enter the strait, leaving the economic blockade intact. To break that stalemate and extract trapped commercial vessels, the U.S. authorized Operation Project Freedom. The force required for the mission is significant, involving 15,000 American troops and a fleet of guided missile destroyers entering the congested, mined waterway. This heavy presence of 15,000 troops acts as a volatile geopolitical tripwire. A single miscalculation, or an unexploded sea mine, or a rogue proxy attack against those ships risks uncontrolled vertical escalation, effectively trapping the U.S. military in a high-stakes, reactive posture. The economic shockwaves radiating from the Middle East quickly crossed the Atlantic, fracturing the cohesion of the NATO alliance. This culminated in a public fracture between the United States and Germany over Washington's strategic handling of the crisis. In immediate retaliation for German criticism, the Pentagon unilaterally ordered the withdrawal of 5,000 American troops from German bases. This troop withdrawal, combined with the refusal of allies like Italy and Spain to grant U.S. aircraft access to their bases, signaled a fundamental breakdown in the alliance. In response, Germany and the Group of Five began accelerating plans for an independent European pillar of defense, aiming to permanently break their reliance on the American security blanket. While the United States bled resources policing the choke point, secondary actors in the Gulf capitalized on the chaos to restructure global trade. Seeking absolute sovereign economic immunity from the conflict, the United Arab Emirates shocked the market by terminating its 59-year membership with OPEC. They could afford to walk away because of the Habshan-Fujairah pipeline, which allowed the UAE to pump crude directly to the Indian Ocean, completely bypassing the blockaded Strait of Hormuz. Then came the dollar liquidity crisis caused by the war. To adapt, UAE central bank officials initiated frameworks to begin pricing a portion of their oil exports in the Chinese Yuan. The 2026 war proved that American unipolarity did not end on the battlefield. It drowned in the Strait of Hormuz. In the modern global system, the capacity to endure systemic economic disruption is now a more powerful tool than the capacity to project conventional military force.